Ladies, let me speak to you today. I want you to hear me and hear yourself. There's a power in you, a force that is subtle yet undeniable. Some of you may doubt it. Some of you may whisper to yourself, I'm not that special, I'm not that captivating. But hear me now, there are signs. There are unmistakable signs that you are a woman who walks in dangerous beauty, not just of the flesh, but a spirit of mind, of presence. Your confidence is magnetic. You walk into a room, and even before you speak, eyes turn. It's not arrogance, it's authenticity. People are drawn to you because you are comfortable in your own skin. You own your story, and your story commands attention. You make people feel alive. There is a light in you that ignites others. You have a laugh that lingers in rooms long after you've gone. Your words inspire, your actions uplift. Your very presence becomes a catalyst for change. You are unapologetically yourself. You do not mold your life to fit someone else's expectations. You refuse to dim your light for the comfort of others. Dangerous attraction is not about vanity, it's about truth. You know who you are, and you live it boldly. You have resilience that others cannot break. Trials come, storms rage, and yet you rise. You walk through fire and come out shining. Strength is attractive in ways that beauty alone can never achieve. People respect and fear a woman who cannot be shaken. You understand the power of silence. You do not need to prove yourself with noise or with words. You allow your presence, your energy, and your actions to speak volumes. Silence becomes your weapon, your shield, and your testimony. You are mysterious and yet approachable. You don't reveal everything at once. You leave people wanting to know more, drawn to your enigma. Your depth fascinates, your layers compel. And that subtle allure is dangerous in its own right. You love passionately but wisely. Your heart is fierce yet discerning. You give love without losing yourself, and that balance commands respect. Dangerous attraction is never reckless. It's intentional, powerful, and controlled. You empower others without losing your own power. You lift other women, inspire men, and influence your world, all while staying true to yourself. Your energy does not diminish, it multiplies. That is the essence of dangerous attractiveness. You elevate, you transform, you radiate. Do not doubt yourself. Do not underestimate the fire within you. Dangerous attractiveness is not vanity. It is strength, it is confidence, it is authenticity, and it is power. You are not just a woman, you are a force. Own it, walk in it, and let the world feel your impact. I want you to understand something tonight, something that has the power to change the way you see yourself and the way the world responds to you. Confidence is not a mere accessory. It is not something you wear like a piece of jewelry, flashy but empty. No, confidence is a force. Confidence is a magnet. When you truly step into it, when you truly own it, you cannot help but draw attention. Not just any attention, the kind of attention that commands respect, inspires admiration, and creates opportunities that others only dream of. Now, I know some of you may be sitting there thinking confidence. That's easy to say. I've tried. I've failed. I don't feel confident. I'm not sure I have what it takes. Let me tell you, this confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a decision. It is the daily choice to stand in your truth, to honor your journey, to believe in the value you bring to every space you enter. Let me emphasize, confidence is magnetic. It draws people doors and opportunities toward you naturally. It does not need to beg. It does not need to chase. It attracts because it emanates from a place of authenticity, of alignment, and of unwavering belief in yourself. Think about it. When someone walks into a room with a sense of quiet assurance, with a posture that says, I know who I am and I am enough, people notice. You don't have to speak loudly. You don't have to boast. You don't have to prove yourself. Your confidence whispers and yet it roars. It says to the world, this woman is powerful, this woman is present, and she is not to be overlooked. And the beauty of it is that confidence is contagious. Others feel it, others respond to it, others gravitate toward it. You become a magnet, not through superficial beauty or flashy appearances, but through the strength that radiates from within. Confidence is the foundation of dangerous attractiveness. It is the soil in which all other qualities grow. You see, you can have every external blessing, looks, wealth, charisma, but if you do not carry yourself with confidence, if you do not understand your worth, those blessings may pass unnoticed. People may admire from afar, but they will not be drawn in. But when confidence is present, suddenly your very existence shifts the energy in a room. People want to listen. People want to engage. People want to be around you. They are drawn not to the surface, but to the depth. The unshakable belief that you are enough, always enough. Confidence is not born overnight. It is forged in the fires of experience. It grows in the crucible of adversity. Every time you rise after a setback, every time you speak your truth when it would be easier to stay silent, every time you choose integrity over convenience, you build confidence. And as your confidence grows, it becomes magnetic. It becomes irresistible. People are naturally drawn to strength, to certainty, to authenticity. They are drawn to those who refuse to be diminished, who refuse to compromise their value, who walk with a quiet power that does not seek validation because it already knows its worth. And let us not confuse confidence with arrogance. Confidence is not about thinking you are better than anyone else. Confidence is about knowing you are no less than anyone else. Confidence is humility wrapped in power. Confidence is a calm, steady assurance that says, I will stand in my purpose. I will not shrink. I will not compete with your light, but I will shine in mine. And when you live like that, when you carry yourself with this kind of assurance, you do not have to convince anyone. They are drawn to you. Doors open naturally. Opportunities arrive seemingly without effort. Your magnetism is undeniable. Confidence is also a practice. It is a muscle. You must exercise it daily. It begins in the mind. Speak kindly to yourself. Affirm your worth. Reject the lies of inadequacy that the world has fed you. Declare every single day that you are enough. Declare that you are worthy of success, love, and respect. Carry yourself with intention. Walk with your head high. Make eye contact. Speak clearly. And watch how the energy around you begins to shift. Confidence will ripple outward, touching every interaction, every opportunity, every space you inhabit. Confidence as a magnet is also about boundaries. You know your worth. You naturally set limits. You refuse to accept disrespect. You refuse to tolerate diminishment. You do not shrink to make others comfortable. This is what makes your confidence dangerous in the most powerful sense. You are not merely attractive because of your appearance. You are attractive because you are unshakable. People are drawn to strength. They are drawn to certainty. And when you combine confidence with integrity, kindness, and self-respect, you create a force that cannot be ignored. Confidence as a magnet is not about perfection. It is about authenticity. It is about embracing your scars, your failures, your quirks, and your strengths. It is about walking fully in the light and shadow of who you are. It is about knowing that your value is inherent, unshakable, and undeniable. When you do this, when you step into that power, the world cannot help but notice. Stand taller. Speak louder when your voice needs to be heard. Shine brighter when the world tries to dim you. Carry yourself with the kind of confidence that draws people doors and opportunities toward you naturally. Do not chase approval. Do not wait for validation. Do not shrink in fear. Your confidence is your magnet. Your confidence is your weapon. Your confidence is your declaration to the world that you are here, you are powerful, and you are not to be overlooked. Because, my sister, when you stand in your confidence, you are not just attractive, you are dangerous. You are unstoppable. You are uncontainable. You are a force the world cannot ignore. And that right there is the power of confidence as a magnet. There is a power within you, a force that goes beyond mere presence. It is ability to breathe life into those around you, to awaken hope where there is despair, to stir motivation where there is stagnation. You may not always see it in yourself, but the truth is this: you ignite life in others. When you begin to recognize this truth, your world changes and the lives of those around you are transformed as well. Some of you may be asking, how can I ignite life in others? I struggle to ignite it in myself. Hear me carefully. The very act of living authentically, the very act of embracing your own light is contagious. People are drawn to energy that is real, that is vibrant, that is unapologetically alive. You do not have to perform. You do not have to manufacture joy. You do not have to pretend to be someone you are not. The simple act of being fully present, fully yourself, becomes a spark. And that spark, oh, that spark can ignite a fire in the hearts of those around you. Consider the way your energy touches people. A word of encouragement, a smile at the right moment, a look that conveys understanding and empathy. These small acts, these subtle gestures have the power to awaken hope in someone who may have been walking through a valley of discouragement. Your energy carries life, your words carry life, your very presence carries life, and it is not a superficial life, it is a deep, transformative, soul-stirring life that inspires others to rise, to dream, to believe, and to act. You ignite life in others because you refuse to hide your light. You refuse to let fear, doubt, or insecurity dim the brightness that God or the universe or destiny place within you. You stand in your purpose. That stance alone is instructive. It tells people that it is possible to rise above circumstances, to persevere in spite of setbacks, to remain unwavering when the world tries to shake you. You become a living example of hope, and hope, my sister, is contagious. It is important to understand that igniting life in others does not require perfection. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to be flawless. In fact, some of the most powerful sparks come from people who have walked through the fire themselves, who have been tested, who have faced trials, and yet have refused to be broken. When you share your story, when you share your journey, you allow others to see that they too can endure, they too can overcome, and they too can shine. There is a power in transparency. There is a power in vulnerability. There is a power in saying, I have been through the storm, and I am still standing. That statement, though simple, ignites life in the hearts of those who are listening. You ignite life in others when you offer encouragement without judgment, when you choose to uplift rather than criticize, to motivate rather than discourage. You create a space where growth can flourish. People are hungry for affirmation, for guidance, for the reassurance that they are not alone in their struggles. When you step into that role, when you offer your energy and your wisdom freely, you become a beacon, a lighthouse in the darkness. And lighthouses are not optional. They are necessary. They save lives. They guide people to shore. Another way you ignite life in others is through your belief in them, even when they do not believe in themselves. There's nothing more powerful than someone who sees your potential before you do, who refuses to let you settle for mediocrity, who challenges you to step into greatness. And when you become that person for others, when you refuse to let them remain in the shadows of self-doubt, you create a chain reaction. Your belief in them sparks belief within them, and suddenly their vision expands, their courage multiplies, and their life begins to shift. That is the essence of igniting life in others. You also ignite life in others through your joy. There is a contagious energy and authentic joy. It is not a superficial happiness that fades when circumstances are hard. It is a deep, abiding joy that stems from knowing your purpose and walking in it. When you laugh freely, when you celebrate victories, yours and others, you invite people to feel alive. You remind them that life is not only about survival, but about thriving, dancing in the midst of challenges, about embracing the beauty that exists even in difficult seasons. Your joy is a spark. Your enthusiasm is a spark. And sparks, my sister, can ignite fires that light up entire communities. Furthermore, you ignite life in others when you lead by example. People are watching. Every decision you make, every action you take, every response to adversity carries a message. When you demonstrate integrity, resilience, and courage, you teach others to do the same. Leadership is not about titles, it is about influence. And influence is the fuel that ignites life in others. You have more influence than you realize because your actions ripple outward, touching lives you may never even see. You do not ignite life in others by diminishing yourself. You do not inspire by shrinking, by playing small, by hiding your gifts. True life-giving energy comes from abundance. It comes from confidence, from power, from fullness. When you shine unapologetically, when you embrace your strengths and your uniqueness, you allow others to shine alongside you. You create a space where people feel free to rise, to embrace their own light, to step boldly into the destiny that awaits them. Step into your power. Recognize the life-giving force within you. Speak words of encouragement, offer your hand to lift someone up, share your story of triumph, and stand boldly in your purpose. Watch as your presence becomes a spark, as your actions become a flame, and as your life becomes a wildfire of inspiration. You have been given this gift for a reason. You have been placed in your position for a purpose. You have been entrusted with the power to ignite life in others. And when you embrace that calling, there is no limit to the transformation you can create. You are not just a woman walking through the world, you are a force. A force that brings hope where there was despair. A force that awakens dreams that were dormant. A force that inspires courage where there was fear. A force that ignites life in others. Embrace it. Own it, live it, and watch as the world around you catches fire, not with chaos, but with purpose, with hope, with life. Because when you ignite life in others, you are not just living, you are fulfilling your destiny. You are leaving a legacy. You are becoming the spark that lights the world. And that, my sister, is the power, the beauty, and the divine responsibility of being a woman who ignites life in others. Let me speak to you today about a truth that the world often tries to bury under layers of expectation and imitation. There is a force inside of you, a unique light, a unique voice, a unique purpose. And yet, so many of us are tempted, pressured, even coerced into conformity. We are told to fit a mold, to follow the crowd, to play small, to shrink, to dim our brilliance in order to make others comfortable. But let me tell you this: authenticity is power. Authenticity is life. Authenticity is freedom. Choose authenticity over conformity. You step into a force that the world cannot ignore. Conformity is easy. It is safe. It is predictable. It asks nothing of you but compliance. The world rewards those who follow rules, imitate trends, and blend in. But the cost of conformity is the loss of self. When you conform, you sacrifice your uniqueness. You trade your voice for acceptance. You trade your power for approval. You hide your brilliance for the comfort of others. And let me tell you, no one was born to be a copy. No one was born to live in the shadow of someone else's expectations. You were born to shine in your own light, to speak in your own voice, to live your own truth. Authenticity is not always easy. In fact, it is rarely easy. To be authentic is to be brave. It is to stand firm when others are trying to pull you in every direction. It is to honor your convictions when the world tells you to compromise. It is to embrace your quirks, your flaws, and your individuality when society says you should fit a certain image. Authenticity demands courage, and courage, my sister, is magnetic. It draws people, opportunities, and influence towards you. It does not beg for attention. It commands it through presence and integrity. When you choose authenticity over conformity, you are choosing life over mere existence. You are choosing to live fully, to embrace your purpose, to honor your gifts. Conformity limits, it confines. It makes life a series of dull repetitions, a life lived for someone else's satisfaction. Authenticity liberates, it empowers, it makes life vibrant, purposeful, and unstoppable. You become a woman who does not just exist. You become a woman who impacts, inspires, and transforms. You see, authenticity is contagious. When you live authentically, you give others permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect. Others see your courage, your boldness, your refusal to compromise, and they are inspired to stand in their own truth. You become a catalyst for transformation. You ignite confidence in others, not through words alone, but through the undeniable power of your example. There is something magnetic about a woman who refuses to conform. A force that cannot be replicated, cannot be bought, and cannot be silenced. And do not misunderstand me. Authenticity is not about being reckless, about rejecting guidance, or about dismissing wisdom. Authenticity is about discerning what aligns with your soul and purpose and standing firm in it. It is about saying no to what diminishes you and yes to what elevates you. It is about making decisions that honor your integrity, even when they are unpopular. It is about living in alignment with your values, your passions, and your calling. That is the essence of authenticity. It is power wrapped in purpose. Think about the women who have changed history, the women who have left a legacy. They did not conform. They did not bow to the expectations of society. They did not allow fear or judgment to dictate their choices. They stood firm in their truth, embraced their individuality, pursued their vision with unwavering determination. And because they did, they changed the world. Their authenticity became their gift, not just to themselves, but to everyone who would follow. And make no mistake, my sister, your authenticity is a gift to the world as well. Choosing authenticity over conformity also requires self-awareness. You must know who you are, what you value, what you will not compromise. You must understand your strengths and weaknesses, your passions and your purpose. This self-awareness becomes your compass, guiding you away from the traps of imitation and toward the freedom of living in your truth. It allows you to navigate a world filled with noise, opinions, pressures without losing yourself. When you know yourself, you do not bend for anyone. You do not shrink. You do not apologize for being you. And yes, the journey of authenticity can be lonely at times. There will be moments when people do not understand you, when they criticize you, they try to pull you back into the mold. But remember this, the path of conformity is crowded, but the path of authenticity is rare. It is for the brave, the bold, the unwavering. And the rewards are immeasurable. Authenticity brings freedom. Authenticity brings influence. Authenticity brings fulfillment. When you live authentically, you are living your destiny, and that is a force that cannot be stopped. Embrace your uniqueness. Honor your voice. Walk boldly in your truth. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable. Do not trade your purpose for approval. Refuse to settle for a life of imitation when you were born to create, to inspire, and to lead. Choose authenticity over conformity every single day, in every decision, in every interaction, and in every space you enter. And watch as your life transforms, as your influence grows, and as your legacy unfolds. Authenticity is your power. Authenticity is your magnet. Authenticity is your destiny. It is the force that will draw the right people, opportunities, and experiences into your life. It is the beacon that will guide you through challenges and toward your purpose. It is the fire that will ignite life, hope, courage in everyone around you. Conformity will keep you small. Authenticity will make you unstoppable. Conformity will leave you blending in. Authenticity will make you unforgettable. Conformity will bring comfort, but it will never bring fulfillment. Authenticity will bring freedom, influence, power to change the world. Stand in your truth, speak your truth, live your truth, and in doing so, you will discover the immeasurable power, undeniable magnetism, and the limitless potential that comes from choosing authenticity over conformity. Because when you choose authenticity, you are not just living, you are thriving. You are not just existing, you are transforming. You are not just walking through the world. You are leaving a trail of light that others will follow, a legacy that will endure, and a mark that can never be erased. Let me speak to you about a force that is quietly unstoppable. It is not charm. It is not beauty. It is not wealth or fame. It is something deeper, stronger, and more magnetic than anything the world can offer. It is resilience. And let me tell you, resilience is irresistible. There is a power in a woman who has faced storms, survived the fire, and continues to rise. There is an energy that draws people in, that demands respect, that inspires others to rise when all seems lost. Resilience is not just survival. Resilience is attraction, influence, and transformation all wrapped into one. Some of you may be thinking, but I've failed too many times. I've been broken. How can I be irresistible? Hear me clearly, the very act of rising again, the very act of continuing when the world tried to knock you down is what makes you magnetic. People are drawn to those who do not give up, those who do not crumble under pressure, those who refuse to be defined by their hardships. Resilience is a quiet power that speaks volumes, force that commands attention without demanding it. Resilience begins with mindset. It begins with the refusal to allow circumstances to dictate your destiny. You may have faced rejection, betrayal, loss, or disappointment. You may have walked through valleys so dark that the light seemed unreachable. Resilience is the choice to stand firm in the face of adversity, to say to the storm, you may blow, but you will not break me. You may rage, you will not define me. That choice is magnetic. That choice draws people, respect, and opportunities to you naturally. The world does not just admire beauty or talent. The world respects strength. The world follows courage. And nothing demonstrates courage more than resilience. When people see you stumble but rise again, when they see you face setbacks but refuse to surrender, they are drawn to you. There is a certain energy in a resilient woman, a certain confidence that cannot be manufactured. It is earned. It is forged in fire. It is irresistible because it is authentic. It is real. It is life-affirming. Resilience also carries wisdom. When you have walked through challenges, you have learned lessons that cannot be taught in books or classrooms. You understand the value of patience, the importance of perspective, power of perseverance. You have a depth that others cannot ignore, a gravitas that draws people in. People are attracted not only to your strength, but to your insight, your ability to navigate storms with grace, and your capacity to turn trials into triumphs is what makes resilience so magnetic. It is not just survival, it is mastery. Resilience is contagious. When you rise, when you continue, when you refuse to give up, you inspire others to do the same. People want to stand near someone who demonstrates that life's challenges are not the end. Setbacks are not permanent, and that strength is built in the struggle. Your resilience becomes a beacon, a guiding light for those who are still finding their way. You do not even have to speak. Your example speaks for you. And that, my sister, is irresistibly powerful. Resilience is also an act of courage. It takes courage to face the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, to keep moving when the path ahead is unclear. But courage is magnetic. It inspires respect and admiration. It draws people opportunities, possibilities toward you. And let me remind you, resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about moving through it. It is about standing in your truth, embracing your scars, and refusing to let fear dictate your choices. That is the essence of irresistible resilience. It is strength wrapped in authenticity, courage wrapped in grace, and power wrapped in endurance. Another element of resilience is adaptability. Life will challenge you in ways you cannot anticipate. It will test your limits, push your boundaries, and demand that you evolve. Resilience is the ability to bend without breaking, to adjust without losing your integrity, and to rise stronger each time. People are drawn to those who navigate life's storms with flexibility and confidence. They are attracted to the energy of someone who can face change, of absorb challenges, and continue moving forward. That adaptability, combined with strength, is a magnetic force. Resilience also carries hope. When you refuse to give in to despair, when you choose to continue despite pain and setbacks, you embody hope. You become proof that it is possible to overcome, to rise, to thrive. And people are irresistibly drawn to hope. They seek the presence of someone who reminds them that their current struggles are temporary, that the storm will pass, and that strength can be built in the struggle. Your resilience gives them courage, your perseverance gives them direction, and your hope gives them life. Resilience is not perfection. It is not about pretending that challenges do not exist or that life is always easy. It is not about masking pain or projecting an image of invulnerability. Real resilience is honest. It acknowledges struggles, embraces them, and rises anyway. It shows vulnerability paired with strength, fear met with courage, and setbacks met with determination. Combination of authenticity and power is what makes resilience irresistible. People are naturally drawn to those who embody both. And finally, resilience is transformative. Not only does it transform your life, but it transforms the lives of those around you. A resilient woman uplifts her community, inspires her peers, and models a life of courage, faith, and determination. She becomes a force of nature, unstoppable and undeniable. People are drawn to her not just because of what she has overcome, but because of who she has become through overcoming. That is the essence of irresistible resilience. It is not just surviving, it is thriving, leading, inspiring, and creating impact wherever you go. Embrace your strength, stand firm in your storms, rise after every fall. Speak life into your challenges and let your courage shine. Walk boldly in your resilience, knowing that it is magnetic, powerful, and transformative. Recognize that every trial you face, every challenge you overcome, every scar you carry is part of the force that draws people, opportunities, and blessings toward you. Resilience is not just a quality, it is a force. It is the energy that cannot be ignored. It is the power that commands respect. It is the strength that inspires. It is the life-giving force that others cannot help but be drawn to. Walk in your resilience, own it, and watch as the world bends to the power of your unshakable spirit. Because, my sister, when you are resilient, you are not just strong, you are irresistible. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. You are not just walking through life, you are leading, inspiring, and transforming. And that, my sister, is the divine, magnetic, unstoppable force of resilience. Let me tell you something today, something that the world often overlooks, something that is quietly, profoundly, and irresistibly powerful. The power of silence. Oh yes, silence. So many of us fear it, rush past it, fill it with noise, distractions, empty words. But let me remind you, silence is not weakness. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is strength. Silence is strategy. Silence is power. A woman who understands this truth wields a force that commands respect, attracts attention, and transforms lives. You see, the world is loud, it is chaotic, it is full of voices trying to pull you in every direction, voices that demand your energy, your opinion, your validation. People will try to provoke you, manipulate you, or pressure you into responding immediately. But the truly powerful woman knows that silence is her shield. She knows that in silence there is wisdom, discernment, and authority. She does not need to react to every comment, every accusation, every criticism. She understands that silence is a signal that she is in control, that she sees more than she speaks, and that she is not at the mercy of others' chaos. Silence allows you to observe. It allows you to understand. When you are quiet, you see what others miss. You notice patterns, motives, and intentions. You hear truths that are often drowned out by noise. You gain clarity, insight, and perspective. And let me tell you this, knowledge is power, but understanding is irresistible. People are drawn to those who listen, who observe, who comprehend more than they reveal. Your silence is not emptiness. It is intelligence in action, strategy in motion, and a force that others cannot ignore. Power of silence also lies in restraint, to remain quiet when provoked, to choose not to engage in unnecessary conflict, to hold your words until the right time. This is a sign of strength. Many people speak without thinking, react without purpose, drain their energy on what does not serve them. But a woman who masters silence conserves her power. She knows that words have weight and that speaking at the right moment can move mountains. She does not need constant validation, applause, or approval. Her silence is a presence, a statement. It says, I am here, I see, I know, I act when necessary. Silence is also a tool of influence. Think about it. Have you ever been in a room where someone speaks less, yet when they do speak, their words carry more weight, more meaning, more impact? That is the power of silence. It amplifies your voice. It makes people listen. It makes people pay attention. It makes your actions speak louder than words ever could. A woman who understands the power of silence does not need to prove herself constantly. She allows her presence, her energy, and her discernment to communicate what words cannot. Moreover, silence is a sanctuary. World that constantly demands output, decisions, and responses. Silence allows you to reconnect with yourself, to listen to your intuition, to hear the whispers of your soul. It is in these moments of quiet that you find clarity, direction, and strength. It is in these moments that you prepare yourself to act with intention rather than react out of fear or impulse. And a woman who acts with intention, who speaks and moves with purpose, is irresistible. Her power is undeniable because it is rooted in wisdom and alignment. Silence also conveys confidence. A woman who does not feel the need to justify herself, explain her every action, or defend her worth is magnetic. People are drawn to her because she carries herself with certainty. Her quiet assurance communicates that she knows her value, that she walks in her purpose. She is unshakable. Confidence wrapped in silence is a force the world cannot ignore. It commands respect, invites admiration, establishes authority without arrogance. Silence allows you to cultivate patience. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, a woman who waits, who observes, who allows life to unfold on its own timeline exudes an irresistible magnetism. She understands that rushing, forcing, or reacting prematurely often leads to mistakes and missed opportunities. But patience born of silence breeds discernment, strategy, and triumph. People are drawn to those who embody patience because they recognize the power it represents. Furthermore, silence can protect you. Everything deserves a response. Not every attack, every rumor, every criticism requires your energy. By remaining silent, you conserve your strength, you maintain your dignity, and you avoid unnecessary conflict. Silence becomes your armor, your safeguard, and your weapon. And when the time comes to act, your words and actions carry more weight precisely because you have chosen when and how to engage. It is the irresistible quality of a woman who knows the power of silence. She is measured, deliberate, and intentional. Silence also invites reflection. It allows others to contemplate your presence, to consider your value, and to recognize your influence. A woman who does not fill every moment with words, who allows the space around her to breathe, becomes a presence that lingers. People notice her. People respect her. People are drawn to her without even realizing why. Silence is magnetic because it creates mystery, it creates depth, communicates a power that cannot be imitated or replicated. Finally, silence teaches control. When you speak less and listen more, you master your emotions, your reactions, and your energy. You no longer allow external circumstances or other people's opinions to dictate your inner peace. You operate from a place of calm, clarity, and authority. And let me remind you, control is irresistible. People are drawn to those who can navigate chaos with composure, who can stand firm when others falter, and who act with precision rather than impulsivity. Silence is the foundation of that control, and control, my sister, is power. Embrace silence. Do not fear it. Do not rush past it. Allow it to teach you, strengthen you, and prepare you. Use it as a tool, a shield, a sanctuary, and a magnet. Speak only when it serves your purpose. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you act, and watch how your presence transforms, how your influence expands, and how people are drawn to the power you carry so effortlessly. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not submission. Silence is power, and when wielded correctly, it is irresistible. Commands respect, it attracts attention, it amplifies your voice, it protects your energy, and it prepares you for moments of greatness. Walk in the power of silence, and you will discover a force within you that others cannot ignore. Because, my sister, when you master silence, you are not just quiet, you are powerful. You are not just still, you are magnetic. You are not just observing, you are preparing to transform the world around you. And that, my sister, is the divine, unstoppable, irresistible power of silence. I want to speak to you about a power that is subtle yet irresistible, a force that draws people toward you without effort, balance so delicate that when you master it, you become unforgettable. That power is the balance between mystery and approachability. It is the art of being intriguing without being distant, captivating without being unkind, alluring without being inaccessible. It is a force that commands attention, inspires curiosity, and fosters connection all at the same time. The world is full of people who are loud, who overshare, who reveal everything too soon. They are transparent in ways that exhaust rather than inspire. And then there are those who are closed off, distant, reachable. People admire them from afar, but they cannot connect. But the woman who balances mystery with approachability, she is magnetic. She draws people in with the allure of her depth, yet she offers warmth, understanding, and presence that makes others feel welcomed, seen, and valued. That is a rare and powerful combination. Mystery begins with self-possession, begins with knowing yourself so well that you do not feel the need to reveal everything at once. You do not need constant validation. You do not need to impress. You do not need to perform. Your life, your story, your thoughts, and your experiences are yours, and you share them selectively, thoughtfully, and intentionally. People are naturally drawn to what is not easily grasped. There is power in being a woman who carries depth experiences, wisdom that are revealed gradually. That gradual unveiling creates anticipation, curiosity, and admiration. It is magnetic because it respects both yourself and those around you. But mystery alone is not enough. If a woman is entirely inaccessible, if she is cold or distant, people may admire her from afar, but never engage with her fully. That is where approachability comes in. Approachability is warmth. Approachability is kindness. Approachability is the ability to make others feel comfortable in your presence while maintaining your own boundaries and dignity. Is smiling without losing authority, listening without judgment, and inviting others into your energy without sacrificing your own. When you master approachability, you make connection effortless, and people naturally want to be around you. The balance between mystery and approachability is powerful because it creates respect. People respect a woman who does not reveal everything at once because they understand that her life is valuable, her experiences are rich, and her energy is not to be taken for granted. And at the same time, they respect a woman who is approachable because she honors their presence, validates their experiences, and creates a space where dialogue and connection can happen. This combination of intrigue and warmth is rare. Rare things are inherently magnetic. Mystery with approachability also enhances your influence. People are more likely to seek guidance, mentorship, companionship from someone they perceive as wise and thoughtful. When you reveal only what is necessary, when you allow people to discover your depth over time, you position yourself as someone with insight, authority, and credibility. And when you combine that with approachability, when you are willing to listen, engage, and share selectively, you become a source of inspiration. Your energy, your presence, and your words carry more weight because they are not overexposed. People value what is rare, and your mystery makes your guidance invaluable. This balance also encourages trust. People are drawn to those who are authentic, who maintain their integrity, and who do not manipulate or overshare. Mystery allows you to protect yourself, to navigate the world with discernment, and to maintain your boundaries. Approachability allows others to feel safe, seen, and understood. Together, they create a dynamic where people are drawn to you not out of superficiality, but because they sense your strength, your wisdom, and your warmth. That is the essence of irresistible presence. A woman who captivates without alienating, who fascinates without intimidating, and who connects without compromising her dignity. Mystery with approachability is a reflection of self-respect. When you are mysterious, you are guarding your energy, your story, and your power. You are saying, I am valuable. I am not here to be consumed by anyone's curiosity or judgment. I reveal what I choose when I choose. And when you are approachable, you are extending kindness without sacrificing self-worth. You are saying, I am present. I value connection. I welcome others, but I do not lose myself in them. This balance signals strength, confidence, and wisdom, and those qualities are irresistibly attractive. Mystery with approachability also fosters curiosity and admiration. People are naturally drawn to what they do not fully understand, what invites exploration, what promises depth. When you reveal your layers gradually, people pay attention, they listen, they engage, they invest in discovering your perspective, your experiences, and your insights. And because you are approachable, they feel invited into that exploration. You become a force that inspires engagement, reflection, and loyalty. Furthermore, this balance is a form of empowerment. It allows you to navigate relationships, social situations, and professional environments with strategy, intention, grace. You are not reactive. You are not desperate for approval. You are deliberate. You understand the value of energy, of presence, of timing. And when you operate from this place of empowerment, people are drawn to you naturally. They are drawn to your wisdom. They are drawn to your strength. They are drawn to the combination of intrigue and warmth that you embody. Mystery with approachability is magnetic because it is authentic. You are not pretending to be someone you are not. You are not creating a false persona to manipulate others. You are simply honoring your depth while inviting connection. That authenticity resonates. They sense it. People feel it, they sense it, and they cannot resist it. There is a difference between being mysterious to deceive and being mysterious to protect, preserve, and empower yourself. And the latter is irresistible. Cultivate mystery in your life. Guard your energy, reveal your depth thoughtfully. Allow people to discover your layers over time. At the same time, cultivate approachability. Offer warmth, kindness, and engagement without losing yourself. Make connection effortless, welcoming, and authentic. Balance intrigue with accessibility, depth with warmth, and presence with invitation. Because when you master mystery with approachability, You are not just a woman in a room. You are a force of nature. People are drawn to you. Opportunities are drawn to you. Influence is drawn to you. Your presence becomes magnetic, your energy becomes unforgettable, and your life becomes a testament to the power of balance, wisdom, and grace. A woman who is mysterious yet approachable is rare. She commands attention. She inspires loyalty. She fosters connection. She leaves an impact. She draws people toward her without effort because her depth and warmth exist in perfect harmony. And that, my sister, is the divine, irresistible, transformative power of mystery with approachability, passion, and love. But not just any passion, the kind of passion that is wise, intentional, and discerning. There's a difference between reckless infatuation and wise passion. One consumes you and leaves devastation in its wake. The other elevates you, strengthens you, and aligns with your purpose. A woman who loves with wise passion is irresistible, not because of superficial allure, but because of depth, integrity, and intentionality. Wise passion in love begins with self-awareness. You cannot give what you do not know, and you cannot love wisely if you do not understand yourself. You must know your values, your worth, your boundaries, and your desires. You must recognize what you will accept and what you will not. Wise passion is rooted in clarity. It is intentional. It does not blindly chase what is fleeting or shallow. It recognizes the difference between a fleeting spark and a sustaining flame. And when you love with clarity, you attract partners, relationships, and connections that honor your depth, match your energy, and align with your purpose. Reckless passion is impulsive, reactive, and often blind. It is driven by desire, but not discernment. It gives without boundaries, invests without insight, sacrifices integrity for immediate gratification. Wise passion, on the other hand, loves boldly, but with intention. It engages fully, never at the cost of self-respect. It nurtures connection, but never loses sight of individuality. A woman who embodies wise passion in love understands that love is not about losing yourself. It is about enhancing yourself, enriching your life, elevating the lives of those around you. That is magnetic. That is irresistible. Wise passion also recognizes timing. Love is not a race. It is not about rushing into attachment or clinging out of fear. It is about allowing relationships to grow, to unfold, and to develop naturally. Patience is the silent partner of wise passion. It observes, it listens, it learns. And when the time is right, it engages fully, powerfully, and authentically. People are drawn to this kind of love because it carries stability, integrity, and depth. It is not fleeting. It is not shallow. It does not crumble under pressure. Another essential element of wise passion is discernment. It sees clearly, evaluates honestly, and chooses intentionally. Wise passion does not ignore red flags, dismiss incompatibility, or settle for less than respect and alignment. It recognizes that love is sacred and must be nurtured, protected, and invested in wisely. A woman who loves with discernment commands respect. She is magnetic because she knows her worth, she values her heart, and she will not give herself away lightly. People are drawn to her because they sense her integrity, her boundaries, and her strength. Wise passion is also resilient. Love is not always easy. It comes with challenges, misunderstandings, and moments of testing. But a woman who loves wisely does not crumble at every obstacle. She communicates, she listens, she compromises when necessary, and she stands firm when principles are at stake. She navigates the storms of love with grace, courage, unwavering commitment to both her values and her partner's growth. That resilience is magnetic. People are drawn to those who love fully but wisely, who navigate difficulty without losing themselves, and who create lasting bonds that honor both hearts involved. Wise passion in love is generous yet grounded. It gives without losing oneself, shares without sacrificing integrity, and invests without expecting blind return. It elevates both partners, creating a relationship where each person thrives, grows, and feels supported. There is a rhythm in wise passion, a balance between giving and preserving, between intimacy and individuality, between desire and discernment. That balance is magnetic. That is the force that draws people not just to love you, but to respect, honor, and cherish the love you bring. A woman who loves with wise passion also nurtures herself. She understands that self-love is the foundation for all other love. She does not rely solely on her partner for validation, happiness, or fulfillment. Instead, she brings a whole, empowered, and radiant self into every relationship. This self-sufficiency is magnetic. People are drawn to strength, not neediness, to confidence, not insecurity, to wholeness, not dependence. Wise passion thrives on balance, self-awareness, and personal growth. It does not diminish the self for the sake of love. It enhances it, celebrates it, and allows it to flourish. Wise passion is also fearless. It engages in love without hesitation, yet it does so with prudence and integrity. It is willing to risk vulnerability, to open the heart, and to invest deeply, knowing that the reward of genuine connection outweighs the fear of loss. Fearless, wise passion inspires those around you. It communicates courage, authenticity, trustworthiness. People cannot help but be drawn to that energy. It is compelling, magnetic, and unforgettable. And finally, wise passion in love transforms. It does not just sustain relationships, it elevates them. It inspires growth, encourages honesty, fosters respect, and cultivates joy. A woman who loves with wisdom is not just attractive. She is a force of transformation. Her love uplifts, empowers, and ignites the best in those she loves. People are drawn to her not merely because of her allure, but because of depth, integrity, and authenticity of the love she embodies. Love boldly, but wisely. Set your boundaries and invest in relationships that honor your depth and align with your purpose. Embrace patience, discernment, and resilience. Nurture yourself as you nurture others. Open your heart fully, yet protect it with wisdom. Allow your love to be magnetic, transformative, and unforgettable. Love without wisdom may burn brightly, but it can also consume. Love with wisdom, however, ignites a flame that warms, illuminates, and endures. Love with wise passion, and you will not only attract the right people, but you will also elevate yourself, your relationships, and your life. Wise passion and love is magnetic, irresistible, and life-changing. Because when you love with wisdom, courage, and intention, you are not just loving, you are inspiring, transforming, and creating a legacy of love that cannot be ignored. That is the power, the beauty, the divine force of wise passion and love. The power of lifting others while you rise. There is a principle in life, a law of influence, that is simple yet profound. When you empower others, you multiply your own impact. When you build up those around you, when you invest in their growth, when you open doors for them, you do not diminish yourself. You amplify your power, your authority, and your presence. Empowering others is not just generosity. It is strategy. It is strength. It is influence multiplied. So many people misunderstand this truth. They believe that in order to succeed, they must compete with others, overshadow them, or hold power tightly to themselves. But the reality is the opposite. True influence is not hoarded, it is shared. True power is not taken, it is expanded through connection, mentorship, and encouragement. A woman who empowers others becomes a force that the world cannot ignore because she creates ripples of growth and transformation wherever she goes. Impact is multiplied, her legacy is amplified, and her presence becomes magnetic. Empowering others begins with mindset. You must believe in the potential of those around you even when they cannot see it themselves. You must recognize talent, character, and promise where others may only see limitations. To empower is to see beyond what is apparent and to nurture the greatness that lies within. Let me tell you, people are drawn to that energy. They are attracted to those who believe in them, who uplift them, and who invest in their growth. When you empower others, you create loyalty, respect, and admiration that cannot be fabricated or purchased. Empowerment is not about doing everything for someone or making them dependent on you. That is not influence. That is control disguised as generosity. True empowerment equips others to stand, to act, to think, and to lead. It is about giving knowledge, resources, and confidence. It is about mentoring, guiding, and supporting without diminishing your own power. A woman who masters this art is unstoppable because she is surrounded by a network of capable, confident, grateful individuals who amplify her vision, support her mission, and contribute to her legacy. That, my sister, is influence multiplied. When you empower others, you also inspire them to pay it forward. The energy you release by lifting someone up does not stop with them. It spreads. They go out into the world and lift others in turn. They share knowledge, open doors, and encourage growth, creating a chain reaction of empowerment. And that chain reaction circles back to you. Your influence expands exponentially because the impact of your empowerment is not limited to the immediate moment. It echoes through communities, networks, and generations. That is the beauty of empowering others. It creates a multiplier effect that no single act of power or wealth can replicate. Empowerment requires humility. To lift others without seeking recognition is a mark of true strength. When you focus on the growth of others rather than the applause for yourself, you demonstrate confidence, security, and authority. People are drawn to that humility because it signals integrity. They sense that your influence is authentic, that your power is not selfishly wielded. Your presence benefits more than just yourself. Humility coupled with action is magnetic. It inspires trust, respect, and admiration. And trust, my sister, is the currency of influence. Empowering others also requires courage. It is not always easy to share your knowledge, your platform, or your opportunities. There may be fear that by elevating others, you will somehow lose your advantage. But that fear is misplaced. Real power grows when it is shared. Real influence multiplies when others rise alongside you. The courageous woman does not hoard opportunities, she creates them. She does not guard wisdom selfishly, she imparts it generously. And in doing so, she solidifies her authority, strengthens her community, leaves an enduring legacy. Courage is magnetic. Empowerment born of courage is irresistible. When you empower others, you also foster loyalty. People remember those who helped them rise, those who invested in their growth, those who believed in them when others doubted. That loyalty is more powerful than any contract, more enduring than any temporary advantage, and more meaningful than any superficial recognition. A woman who lifts others does not just gain followers, she gains advocates, allies, champions who amplify her influence because they have personally experienced her generosity, her wisdom, and her strength. Loyalty, once earned through empowerment, is irreplaceable. Empowerment also inspires innovation and collaboration. When people feel supported, valued, and trusted, they are more willing to share ideas, take risks, and contribute creatively. A woman who empowers others creates environments where talent thrives, where potential is realized, and where collective vision becomes reality. Her influence is not limited to her own actions. It is magnified by the creativity, dedication, and passion of those she has empowered. That is true multiplication of power. It grows exponentially through the growth of others. Furthermore, empowerment enhances credibility and respect. People are drawn to leaders who lift others, who create opportunities, and who foster growth. Signals that your power is grounded in integrity, not manipulation. It shows that you understand the value of collaboration over competition, service over selfishness, and of legacy over fleeting gain. That credibility is magnetic. It draws people, resources, and opportunities toward you, creating an ecosystem where influence, impact, and purpose thrive together. Empowering others also cultivates resilience for you and for them. When you invest in the growth of others, you build networks of support, collaboration, and shared wisdom. Those you empower become allies in challenges, sources of counsel in adversity, and contributors to your collective success. Your influence becomes a web of strength that cannot be broken by circumstance or opposition. Empowerment multiplies impact, not just in moments of triumph. In moments of trial, that resilience is magnetic. That is influence in its highest form. Empowerment is a reflection of your own abundance. A woman who empowers others is secure in her worth, confident in her capabilities, and aligned with her purpose. She does not fear scarcity because she knows that sharing does not diminish. Rather, it magnifies. When you uplift others, your influence, legacy, authority grow in ways that isolation and control never could. Empowerment is not charity. It is strategy, wisdom, and strength in action. Lift someone up. Encourage share opportunities. Celebrate the success of others. Invest in their growth without diminishing yourself. Recognize that every life you empower becomes a reflection of your own influence multiplied. Build networks of trust, respect, and loyalty. Create environments where talent, creativity, and purpose flourish, and watch as your own power expands in ways you never imagined. Because, my sister, when you empower others, you are not just generous, you are strategic. You are not just kind, you are magnetic. You are not just influential, you are unstoppable. The lives you touch, the doors you open, the potential you awaken All of it multiplies your impact, extends your legacy, and transforms your world. And that, my sister, is the divine, unstoppable, irresistible force of empowering others to multiply influence. I want to speak to you about a power that lives deep within you. A force that is undeniable, unstoppable, and unapologetically yours. This is the power of owning your force. It is the recognition that you are not small, you are not average. You are not here to live beneath your capacity. You were created with purpose, with strength, and with an energy that can move mountains, transform lives, alter destinies. Owning your force means embracing this power fully, unapologetically, and without compromise. So many women, so many of us, been conditioned to minimize ourselves. We are told to be quiet, to be accommodating, to blend in. We are taught that our power is threatening, our confidence is arrogance, and that our strength is something to hide. But let me tell you this, your force is not a threat. It is your birthright. It is the energy that propels you forward, the courage that allows you to rise, and the influence that makes your presence felt. To own your force is to step into your destiny with confidence, authority, and conviction. Owning your force begins with self-recognition. You must first see yourself clearly, your talents, your strengths, your potential, and your value. You must acknowledge the gifts you bring to the table, the intellect, the energy, the creativity, the leadership, and the passion that make you unique. Too many women underplay their abilities or question their worth, waiting for validation from others. But the truth is, your force does not require permission. It does not seek approval. It exists whether anyone notices or not. Your first step in owning it is to recognize it in yourself. Your force is amplified when you embrace your uniqueness. Comparison is the thief of force. Do not measure yourself against anyone else. Your force is singular, energy distinct, and your impact unparalleled. Stop trying to fit into someone else's mold. Stop trying to be what the world expects. When you honor your individuality, when you embrace the combination of strengths, experiences, and quirks that make you who you are, your force becomes magnetic. People are drawn to authenticity, to power that is rooted in self-acceptance and confidence. Owning your force begins with the unapologetic embrace of yourself. Key aspect of owning your force is courageous action. A force that is dormant accomplishes nothing. It is the combination of recognition and action that transforms potential into reality. When you act boldly, decisively, and intentionally, your force becomes a catalyst for change. It propels you toward your goals, influences those around, and creates a legacy that cannot be ignored. Courage is the amplifier of force, and women who act fearlessly, who step into challenges, face adversity, and rise above doubt, command respect and admiration. Owning your force also requires discipline. Energy without direction is wasted. Power without focus can become chaotic. To fully own your force, you must channel it with intention, set goals, align your actions with your purpose. Prioritize what matters and release what does not. When your force is concentrated, it becomes unstoppable. It can break through obstacles, shatter limitations, and create outcomes that defy expectations. Discipline is the bridge between potential and power, and every woman who owns her force must walk it faithfully. Your force is also strengthened by resilience. Life will challenge you. It will test your patience, push your limits, and confront you with adversity. But a woman who owns her force does not shrink in the face of difficulty. She stands tall, rises again, and uses setbacks as fuel for growth. Resilience multiplies your energy because it demonstrates that your force is not dependent on circumstances. It is intrinsic, unwavering, and permanent. Every trial you overcome, every obstacle you face, only amplifies the power that is already within you. Owning your force also means owning your voice. Speak boldly, speak clearly, and speak your truth. Do not apologize for your opinions, your perspective, or your vision. Your voice carries influence. It commands attention. It inspires action. A woman who owns her force understands that silence may be appropriate at times. Power of her voice, expressed with clarity and conviction, is transformative. When you claim your voice, you claim your space, your authority, and your right to be seen and heard. Furthermore, your force grows when you embrace responsibility. Owning your force is not about dominance or control. It is about accountability. It is about taking ownership of your choices, your actions, your impact on the world. A woman who accepts responsibility does not blame circumstances or other people for her outcomes. She recognizes her power to create change, to influence others, and to shape her destiny. Responsibility is the backbone of force, and women who wield it confidently are unstoppable. Your force is also contagious. When you own it, you inspire others to own theirs. People are drawn to energy, confidence, and purpose. When you rise, those around you are elevated. When you act with courage, they are motivated to act. When you embrace your potential, they are reminded of their own. Owning your force is not selfish. It is generative. It multiplies impact, inspires action, creates a ripple effect that transforms communities, workplaces, and families. Owning your force does not require perfection. You do not have to be flawless. You do not have to have it all figured out. Force is not about perfection. It is about authenticity, courage, and alignment with your purpose. It is about stepping into who you are, embracing your energy, and using it to create impact. People are drawn to authenticity more than to perfection. When you own your force with humility, passion, and purpose, your influence is unstoppable. Finally, owning your force is a declaration. It is a statement to yourself and the world that you will not settle for less than your purpose, your potential, and your destiny. It is a commitment to live boldly, love deeply, and act decisively. It is the refusal to shrink, to blend in, or to be silenced. A woman who owns her force is magnetic, inspiring, and transformative. She does not wait for permission. She does not wait for validation. She rises, and in rising, she lifts others, changes lives, and creates a legacy that will endure. Recognize the force within you. Embrace it fully. Act courageously, boldly. Stand tall in the face of adversity. Align your energy with your purpose. Channel your power intentionally. Accept responsibility for your choices. Inspire those around you. And never apologize for the force that is yours. Because, my sister, when you own your force, you are not just alive, you are unstoppable, you are not just influential, you are transformational, you are not just a presence, you are a movement. And that, my sister, is the divine, unstoppable, and irresistible power of owning your force.